Empoleon received plenty of love in the Teal Mask DLC. While it did not gain access to Scald again, it did gain access to Roost, as well as a brand new hidden ability in the form of competitive as opposed to Defiant. Let's talk about some Penguin power. Empoleon has the defensive combination of water and steel, which most tanks would covet. As far as our typing breakdown goes, we have an outright immunity to poison, 4 times resistances to ice and steel, 8 regular resistances to bug, normal, dragon, fairy, psychic, rock, water, and flying, and then finally 3 weaknesses to fighting, electric, and ground. And I'm pretty sure the remaining types that do hit us neutrally are grass, ghost, and dark. So really, that's nice. On top of that, Empoleon also has the stats to back up that typing here. We have 84 HP, 86 attack, 88 defense, 111 special attack, 101 special defense, and 60 speed. This thing could be a slow, bulky special attacker if you wanted to make it, or it could be a fast attacker with Choice Scarf and Tailwind Shenanigans working together. You definitely have both of those options to run on Empoleon. As far as our abilities go, we have Torrent, which is the basic ability for any water type starter, where your water type attacks go up 50% in power once you're at a third of your max HP. Or you have competitive. The minute your opponent lowers your stats, you get a free +2 into your special attack. Now, this thing used to be Defiant, so it used to be a +2 into attack. Empoleon's special attack is so much better than its physical attack, which means competitive is so much more of an upgrade right out of the gate. So we also have a fair amount of Tera options to consider when building around Empoleon as well. If we wanted to, we could go either Tera Water or Tera Steel to double our respective stab options right there. If we wanted to go Tera Ice, we could gain a 50% boost to our defense stat. Alola Ninetales is back, which also has access to Aurora Veil, meaning we can get extraordinarily bulky on this thing. And if we get extremely bulky like that, Roost is going to be a very valuable move to consider putting into Empoleon's move slot, because then we can get half of our HP back. We could go Tera Rock to gain a 50% special defense boost if we wanted to, by pairing it either with Hippowdon or Tyranitar on a sand team. We could go Tera Grass to become immune to powder moves, so we don't have to worry about Spore. That could free up an item slot in case we didn't want to run safety goggles. We could go Tera Ghost to become immune to Fake Out. Or if we are worried about dealing with a mirror matchup against opposing Empoleons that are not terrestrialized, we can go either electric, ground, or fighting, so that Tera Blast will hit it super effectively. All right, for this first set, I'm thinking bulky special attacker right here. We have 236 EVs into our HP to hit 189 right there. We have 44 EVs into our defense to hit 114. If we run Tera Ice with Snow, we're going to jump up from 114 to 171. And even if we don't run Tera Ice here, we do have the option to include Alola Ninetales and Aurora Veil to increase our general bulk right there, so that can be relatively handy. We have 188 EVs plus a Modest Nature to hit 170. Once we get that +2 competitive boost, we are going to be blasting holes through walls like Swiss cheese. They might as well be a plywood fence at that point. And even if we don't get the competitive boost, 170 is still a respectable number. A helping hand boost will definitely put that over the edge to hurt a lot of things as well. We have 36 EVs into our special defense to hit 126. If we have this thing with Tera Rock next to either Tyranitar or Hippowdon, any kind of sand setter for that matter, we'll hit 189 points. And then finally, to make sure our last 4 EVs don't go to waste, we're adding an extra point into our speed to hit 81. However, you don't necessarily have to do that. That is completely optional. This is more or less just so that we can get ahead of any uninvested Empoleons, especially if you're running Tera Electric, Tera Blast, or Tera Fighting, Tera Ground, anything like that, just to get the jump on them. Empoleon can definitely run with 0 IVs into its speed if you want to in Trick Room. As far as damaging options go, I was thinking we could start off with Water Pledge. Water Pledge has the same base power of 80 that Scald does, and it combines with either Grass Pledge or Fire Pledge. Now, you do see pledge moves come up every once in a blue moon, but it's because they're limited to starters that you don't see them all the time. So, if you combine Water Pledge with Grass Pledge here, you'll slow down the opponent's side of the field for 4 turns. If you combine it with Fire Pledge, well, now you're going to increase the secondary effects of your moves and up them by 2 times. So if you have something like, say, Rock Slide, Iron Head, Air Slash, these moves have 30% chance to make your opponent flinch. If you have the Rainbow condition on the field from activating Water Pledge and Fire Pledge, well, now that 30% is going to double and go up to 60%. That can be relatively handy. On top of that, Water Pledge does not get redirected by Storm Drain, so you don't have to worry about pesky things like Gastrodon or Tatsugiri redirecting that. You can just go for the straight damage into the target that you want to. And pledge moves happen to go back to back. So if you have a faster Fire or Grass Pledge user go, they'll bypass Empoleon's speed of 60 and let Empoleon go immediately. You'll get your combined move animation as well as boost the pledge move's power and go from there. So that is going to be handy, because what I was thinking of is we can actually consider running Infernape, where Infernape does have that 108 speed. It's a relatively solid special attacking option with 104 as well. We pair a Timid Nature and Choice Scarf together with the Fire Pledge, so Infernape moves before a lot of other things on the field, and then Empoleon will join in on this with the Water Pledge. You'll get the Rainbow effect, and now any secondary effect you have in any of your moves is going to double. So another thing too is if you didn't want to use a Choice Scarf on Infernape, Infernape also gets Rock Slide, so there you go. There's a 60% chance to make both targets flinch if you connect a Rock Slide. So that can be relatively handy. Back to Empoleon. So our second option here is Ice Beam. Ice Beam is relatively nice coverage options right there to deal with grass types. You could run Ice Beam for single target damage. If you want to run Tera Ice, you would also gain a stab boost to Ice Beam. You could take out Ice Beam and run Icy Wind if you want to play a little bit on the supportive side and slow down the targets by 1 speed stage. That could be handy too for the rest of Empoleon's partners. Or if you wanted to, you could go more extreme and go Blizzard. Blizzard is a base 110 move. If you run the Tera Ice, you're gaining stab on that. If you have the Ninetales on the field with Snow, Blizzard can't miss. That could be handy too. Then we have Flash Cannon for some relatively solid Steel type coverage. You could make a case for Steel Beam, but that is really living on the edge, and I do not personally feel comfortable with it, but you could make a case for Steel Beam at base 140. But I think Flash Cannon at base 80, especially if you ran Tera Steel, would be a solid option as well. We have Protect here to help keep Empoleon around, and we also have the safety goggles too, because what I was thinking here is we're not going to run Tera Grass on this particular Empoleon, so we do have to be weary of Spore. We have the safety goggles to keep us awake. We don't want that case of the sleepies. So we have that. We have the Water Pledge, the Ice coverage move, Flash Cannon, and Protect. If we wanted to, we could also take one of these 3 damaging moves out. In this case, we'll take Blizzard out. We could run Roost. Actually, we'll take Flash Cannon out. We'll run Blizzard, because we'll hypothetically have Ninetales here. We'll run Roost right here. And then that way, we can have Blizzards that don't miss in the snow, regardless of we're Tera or not. We have Ninetales next to us. We have Aurora Veil on the field, meaning we'll be even bulkier. And then we can go from there. So that was one option for this Empoleon. And let's talk about the fact that Empoleon is so slow. There's another way to achieve the competitive boost, and that is Weirdier. Now, I've been talking about this in plenty of other videos. I talked about it in my Galarian Articuno video. Weirdeer and Stantler both get Intimidate and Skill Swap, so you could Skill Swap away your own Intimidate off Weirdeer into the opponent. They can Intimidate your Empoleon, and then you can give Empoleon a +2 special attack. And if you wanted to, you could also Skill Swap away your own Intimidate into Empoleon, so that Empoleon lowers the opponent's attack one stage, and then Weirdeer gets the competitive ability as well, because Weirdeer at 105 is not a bad option as well to have that, but that was just something I was thinking of that could be funny. And plus, Weirdeer also gets access to Trick Room, so you can definitely set the field to make it so that slower Pokemon like Weirdeer and Empoleon can go first. That could be fun too, because another thing you could do too is, depending on how you play your EVs around with Weirdeer, like maybe you don't have an exact 0 speed Empoleon, but you do have a Weirdeer, you could have Weirdeer set up Trick Room, and then on the second turn, then go for the Intimidate Skill Swap, and then that way Empoleon gets the free +2 from competitive, and then can hit the target really hard. Said that a little weird, but anyways, you get the idea. That's what I was thinking for this first set. A second set I was thinking is we go fast. We have Flash Cannon and Hydro Pump. Hydro Pump and Surf are both solid options to go with instead of Water Pledge as well. They're both significantly stronger. Surf is 95 power, Hydro Pump is 110. The big thing is Surf is hitting your partner, so unless you wanted to run a Storm Drain Pokemon or a Telepathy-mon, Surf is going to be hitting your partner though. So you could run the Hydro Pump. It's single target. It's only 80 accuracy though, so you are gambling that way. And another alternative instead of Ice Coverage 2 is Grass Knot. So like Infernape, but like I mentioned in that video too, ground types and rock types tend to be on the heavier side. They definitely do not appreciate taking a Grass Knot, especially ground types like Gastrodon that can get around water type damage. They don't appreciate that grass type move coming their way. So you could definitely do that. And what I was thinking with this Empoleon is we have a Timid Nature, max speed investment. We have a Life Orb. We could pair this with Tornadus, which would be another solid option for Empoleon because we have access to both Tailwind and Rain Dance with Prankster. So we're getting the priority on that. Empoleon will gain double speed from the Tailwind. You can gain a 50% boost from the Rain as well with Rain Dance, and plus Tornadus synergizes nicely with that because it's Bleak Wind Storm also can't miss in the rain, so that could be really solid as well. And plus, even though I said Surf and Hydro Pump are alternative options to Water Pledge, you could run that on a faster set like this as well, because again, Storm Drain won't redirect it, so you do have that option. Now, I don't know how Storm Drain works if you directly attack into it. That might still nullify it, so Grass Knot could be a nice solid option to be prepared for ground types that are outright immune to water type attacks. So that's another option as well. Third, we have a Choice Scarf Empoleon. So in this case, we're putting Ice Beam back on it. We have the Water Pledge for the accuracy, if at anything. You could do the Surf. I wouldn't recommend the Hydro Pump because of the accuracy, especially where you're locking yourself into it. But that is definitely a thing too. So what I was thinking with the Choice Scarf, we're at 123, giving the Choice Scarf the getting the 50% boost from that 123, we are going to hit 184. That's not the fastest, but 184 under Tailwind, hello Tornadus, that could be fun as well, especially if you did something like maybe you had Tornadus and Ninetales as your lead. You go for the Aurora Veil turn 1, you go Tailwind turn 1. One of them happens to go down because, you know, Tornadus is kind of frail. Empoleon comes out with that Choice Scarf. Now you have both the defense boost as well as the speed boost and the Choice Scarf boost. Now you're going to be into some wild shenanigans right there as well. So you could definitely make a case for that. Okay, and since I mentioned Steel Beam, you know how you look at the one thing that you really shouldn't, then you're like, I might be onto something here. Let's build around Steel Beam. So we're gonna go 236 HP, 252 Modest Nature to hit that 179. We got our Steel Beam right here. We got our substitute. We're gonna go Roost. We could put another move here for just some generic coverage. Let's do Water Pledge. Not Wedge, Water. We'll go Water Pledge right here. We'll slap a Citrus Berry on it. Let's go Wo Chien as one of our 2 leads right here. Level 50 right there. Do you get light screen? You do. Okay, light screen. Reflect. This feels terrible, but at the same time, I'm enjoying this right here. Yeah, this might be disgusting, but hey, let's do it. General damage move. Let's go Pollen Puff. Second partner right here. Orfworm right here. Shed Tail. So let's do this. Let's go Orfworm, Wo Chien as a potential lead, hypothetically. We get the Shed Tail up. Empoleon comes in. We have a Citrus Berry to give us back a little bit of HP. We have Substitute to set up another Substitute once the Shed Tail breaks. We got Roost to give us even more HP back. And then we got Steel Beam to fire. And then finally, let's just do this. Tera Steel. Base 280 after stab. Losing half our HP, that feels like a fair trade for that, because then we can just give ourselves back some more HP. But anyways, yeah. Bonus set, I guess, right there to go with the other 3. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think of Empoleon down in the comments below, and let's get the conversation going.